Good morning, dear students. We are starting today the annual portion, that is chapter 27. Nothing stopped them. So in this chapter we are going to learn about the people who have achieved lot in their lives and nothing stopped them doing their work. Okay, so let's see the book and learn more about them. Open the book. Nothing stopped them. It is a great achievement for anyone to perform extraordinary acts. So it is a great achievement for anyone to perform extraordinary acts. But it is even more so when this is done despite being especially able. So it is even more so when this is done despite being specially able. Okay. It is true that no one can stop the person who has the ability to act on what he or she wishes to achieve. So it is true that no one can stop the person who has the ability to act on what he or she wishes to achieve. Understood? Okay. So let's see ahead. Here are a few people who have achieved a lot despite being specially abled. Can you identify them? So here are few people who have achieved a lot despite being specially abled. So now let's identify them. Okay. First number. She was born in Kerala, India. On one of her return trips from Mumbai to Chennai, she met with an accident resulting in the amputation of her right leg. Amputation is cutting, okay, cutting of her right leg. It got cut, okay. She was given an artificial leg, and despite this, she became one of the most proficient and celebrated dancers of the Indian subcontinent. So she was born in Kerala, India. On one of her return trips from Mumbai to Chennai, she met with an accident, and in that accident, her leg was cut off, okay, and she was given an artificial leg. Despite that, she became one of the most proficient and celebrated dancers of the Indian subcontinent. Who is that? The answer is Sudha Chandran. Sudha Chandran. Okay. Second number. She is a former American track and field athlete. So she is a former American track and field athlete. At the age of 9, she developed a disease that left her legally blind. So age of 9, she developed a disease that left her legally blind. She is a 3-time national champion in the women's 5,000 meter race. She won 4 gold medals in the 1992 Summer Paralympics. So she won 4 gold medals in the 1992 Summer Paralympics. In 2001, she co-wrote and published her autobiography, No Finish Line, My Life as I See It. So who is she? The answer is Marla Runyan. Marla Runyan. Next, number 3. He was a Dutch painter. He is regarded as one of the greatest painters the world has seen. So he is one of the greatest painters of the world. Okay. His paintings have contributed immensely to modern art. So his paintings have contributed immensely, so much, to modern art. In his 10-year painting career, he produced 900 paintings and 1100 drawings. He was suffering from a mental illness, and in 1889 he was admitted to a psychiatric hospital. So he was suffering from a mental illness, and in 1889 he was admitted to a psychiatric hospital. Who is this? The answer is Vincent van Gogh. Next, number 4. He is widely regarded as one of the greatest composers in history. He gave his first public performance as a pianist when he was only 8 years old. So he is widely regarded as one of the greatest composers in history. He gave his first public performance as a pianist when he was only 8 years old. He studied in Vienna under the guidance of W.A. Mozart. In the year 1796, he began losing his hearing. So, in the year 1796, he began losing his hearing. In spite of his illness, he immersed himself in his work and created some of the greatest works of music. So, in spite of his illness, he immersed, means he developed himself in his work and created some of the greatest works of music. He achieved all this despite being completely deaf for the last 25 years or so of his life. Who is this? The answer is Ludwig van Beethoven. Ludwig van Beethoven. Next, number 5. He was a well-known French journalist, author and editor of the French fashion magazine Elle. In 1995, he suffered a massive heart attack, causing him to go into a coma for 20 days. So, he was a well-known French journalist, author and editor of French fashion magazine, that is Elle. In 1995, he suffered a massive heart attack, causing him to go into a coma for 20 days. After coming out of the coma, he found himself with a very rare neurological disorder called locked-in syndrome. So, after coming out of the coma, he found himself with a very rare neurological disorder that is called locked-in syndrome. in which the mental state is perfectly normal and stable, but the body is paralyzed from head to toe. In that case, he was able to move only his left eyelid. Despite his condition, he wrote the book The Diving Bell and the Butterfly by blinking when the correct letters was reached by a person, slowly reciting the alphabet over and over again. So who is this? The answer is Jean Bubby. Jean Bobby. Okay, next. Number 6. He was a British theoretical physicist whose world-renowned scientific career spanned over 40 years. So he was a British theoretical physicist whose world-renowned scientific career spanned over 40 years. His books and public appearances have made him an academic celebrity. So his book and his appearance have made him an academic celebrity. He was severely disabled by motor neuron disease since he was only 21. So he was severely disabled by motor neuron disease since he was only 21. Gradually, he lost the use of his arm, legs and voice, and as of 2009, he was medically declared completely paralyzed. He used to communicate through a speech generating device. So who is this? The answer is Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking. Next, number 7. She was an American author, political activist and lecturer. She was the first deafblind person to earn a Bachelor of Arts degree. So she was an American author, political activist and lecturer, and she was the first deafblind person to earn a Bachelor of Arts degree. Annie Sullivan was her teacher who taught her to communicate by spelling words into her hand beginning with DOLL for the dog. She was a prolific author. Okay, prolific means producing many books. Okay, so prolific author. She traveled to over 39 countries. So she traveled to 39 countries with her teacher. She was a good friend of many famous figures including Alexander Graham Bell, Charlie Chaplin and Mark Twain. So who is she? The answer is Helen Keller. The answer is Helen Keller. Now next, Bob. Let's read that also. Hari Boniface Prabhu. So who is this Hari Boniface Prabhu? A quadriplegic wheelchair tennis player, was a medal winner at the 1998 World Championship and was also awarded Padma Shri by by the Government of India in 2014. So Hari Boniface Prabhu, a quadriplegic, means fully just his legs and hands were affected. Okay, was not able to move around, so he was sitting in wheelchair. Okay, quadriplegic wheelchair tennis player. Was a medal winner at the 1998 World Championship and was also awarded Padma Shri by the Government of India in 2014. So you have to remember this. Okay. Now next, did you know Deepa Malik? Deepa Malik is the first Indian woman to win a medal in the Paralympics. This also you have to remember. Okay. Deepa Malik is the first Indian woman to win a medal in the Paralympics. She won a silver medal in the shot put event at 2016 Paralympic Games. She was honored with the Arjuna Award in 2012 at the age of 42. She is the eldest recipient of the Arjuna Award till date and also received the Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Award 2019. So you understood? I hope you understood the chapter. Please revise it again and learn. Learn the names of these great people who have achieved a lot in their lives despite having disabled. Okay, they never stopped doing their work. Nothing stopped them. So we have completed reading the chapter. Learn it. See you in the next class. Thank you.